take it easy for you now. You got 2 minutes of my time, and I don't really break too easily, but I'm worth it, cause I'll slip into your dreams tonight. Oh, so give me your all. I'll take it to Mars. Oh, I'll stick like glue inside your mind. Just watch me breaking your sweat. You're falling into me, touch me, I swear. You would do anything that I want, so keep us awake till the dawn. Ooh, baby, feel free. I wanna make you sweat on me. I wanna make you sweat on me. I got you wrapped around my finger.
Hello, whores. Hello.
Hello. It's so good to
Is that the
see
proper way
you.
to greet my friends? Is that what I do?
I mean, it's not the proper way.
You know, it's a way. It's
Mhm.
an expression, not the expression. So please feel free to use whatever words you like. Hi, welcome
Choose your
to another
greeting.
episode. Yeah, choose your greeting and honor people's pronouns when you do that because it's trans. I mean, every day, but also during Trans Awareness and Resilience Week, which is this week.
Ooh, that's fun.
Trans Day of Remembrance is coming up this weekend. So in honor of that, my name is Marsha P. Johnson.
My name is, oh man, why don't I ever come up with a cute name? What should
Well,
my
that's
name
because
be?
I come up with them off the top of my head. You, today, your name is Miss
My
Major.
name is Paloma Matt Linder.
That's your drag name for sure.
Paloma is the name of the drink that I found. So, hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of Your Favorite Ants, where we might have a beverage or two. We're hoping you do as well. We want to know how the hell you are, but I wanted to share that I am at the Hilton in downtown Nashville. And
Wow, so
I
fancy.
know. And they have Paloma in cans.
That's really cool. They have this thing at the bar I go to called Long Drink, and it's kind
Ooh.
of like a gin fizz situation. It's pretty great. Um, Currently, I mean, I'm gonna drink this down a little bit, and then I'm gonna go.
Add something to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go get some tequila in a second. But I knew that we needed to get the ball rolling
So,
initially.
so how the hell are you, Kevin?
Oh, I'm very tired today.
Mm.
Um, I hadn't slept well the past 2 nights for whatever reason. I'm not gonna blame it on the moon, but like it was a lunar eclipse. So like you tell me. You tell me.
Does that mean something's in retrograde?
No, it means that there was an eclipse.
Oh, and that also affects things?
Yes, everything in the sky affects everything. Why are you
Okay.
surprised by this?
I don't know. I'm always learning. I'm here. I am here but to learn.
For such a time as this, I'm just tired. And I mean, like right before we got on the phone, like the news broke that Kyle Rittenhouse got acquitted, and I'm just like,
Oof.
my mood. Like after that, I was just like, I really do need to roll a joint because this is too much on today.
It's a strange reality. I'm excited that that's on our list of things to go through because I went to put it on
hmm
our list and it was already there.
Oh
Um,
yeah. So yeah.
because
So I
that's
will.
going to be
I
under our
get.
grievances, I'm afraid.
Yeah. I'm gonna put myself at existentially a 3. Personally, I actually would put myself at an 8. I've had a fine day and went had working out and enjoying it and but today when I was doing first of all, I hate like can I just say
Of course.
gyms are places of pure eroticism. I
Oh,
just
100%. There is nothing more that looks more like foreplay than watching a CrossFit.
Oh, like when we were doing so, like some of the warm ups today, we were just doing air squats, but we were using like a PVC pipe to like keep it balanced. So basically, just have a loose grip around it, and as you're so that and keep it up and down as you are squatting
Oh
in the air.
no.
So we have all 4 of us going do 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 do,
Oh
in
no.
our hands grasping our PVC pipes as we squatted down. I'm just like Anybody else see this? Am
Is
I the
this
villain here? Am I the problem? Am I the disgusting whore? I mean, the
am
answer is
I the
yes.
problem? The answer is sure.
And then on top of that, I mean, I knew that this would eventually happen, that one very, very attractive man would be in the gym. And when I tell you
You
that,
found him.
uh, he doesn't listen to this podcast, Patrick, I love you already. I love all 6 of your abs. I love your ginormous back. And I just had so
Ooh.
much joy looking at you today.
Oh, I like
um,
this.
and you know what? It's Trans Awareness Week, and as a non-binary person, I reserve the right to objectify white men.
Is that how that works?
You know, I'm not sure, but I'm taking. I'm gonna say it's Trans Awareness Week, and as a Tarns myself, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm just kidding.
I just want to say that one of my favorite things that you do, only when it's appropriate, when you know the person's going to be okay. But if we're like at a store and they don't have a flavor or something, you will say, especially if you're wearing like one of your like more like
If
luscious
I'm
outfits,
overtly queer, if I'm
if you're
overtly
overtly
queer,
queer, you will say, this is homophobia.
as it is.
And it's because the person behind the counter doesn't know whether they're supposed to laugh or not. So they'll be like,
Hmm.
like,
Yeah, and most of the time, the thing is, like, I really am like, I know that it's not really homophobia when you don't have the thing I need or
right,
want, or when
right.
things don't go my way. But isn't it though?
I mean, who's to
I
say?
mean, in I guess it all depends on your perspective. Um,
Am I the villain? That's a great question.
am I the villain? And how are you? And also to our friends who are joining us live,
Yes, please
answer
tell
in
us
the
how you're doing.
comments, how are you?
Yeah,
Because I
I
know we have
wonder.
8-ish people fluctuating in and out. We're also streaming on Twitter now too. I could
Ooh,
actually set it up to stream on your Twitter as well if you want to get
mm,
wild. I can also stream to your Facebook if you really want to get
I would
wild,
love
wild.
that. Yeah, yeah. Stream it everywhere. Um, I have had a rough day.
Hit me. Tell me about the woes.
But I'm doing well. You know this. I came to the South last week. I shared that I was injured, but I was hoping to run tomorrow's rock and roll half marathon.
Hmm.
And I have what's known as plantar fasciitis. If you've ever had plantar fasciitis, it's pretty gnarly. It's not plantars, it's plantar fasciitis.
Plantar.
Plantar. And
Plantar. You had a
um,
plantar
I
fasciitis.
do. I have it. Fasciitis. I have fasciitis.
You're a
And
plantar fascist. Got it.
and I worked really hard to not run, which is a really difficult thing for me. And I realized that some of my pretty gnarly food issues are tied to me feeling like I deserve or don't deserve to eat. So when I had a knee injury in high school that took me out from playing soccer,
Hmm.
I would go to soccer parties or whatever, and I wouldn't eat because I didn't deserve to eat because I hadn't played. And so
Interesting.
I know, and I didn't really put all that together. So yesterday, I really was starting to feel a little bit better in my foot. So I'm like, maybe I'll be able to run. And the whole time, by the way, Kevin, the
Entire time.
entire time has said, you shouldn't run. Like your body.
I mean, like I told you like a month. I think the thing I said was just like, I hope you know that you're not going to run that race. And you got very upset with me.
You said it so like lightly. And I was like,
I
because
mean, yeah.
I didn't know how much was tied to it for me. So anyway,
Hmm.
there's some stuff around being tough. There's some stuff around like
Hmm.
feeling like I'm resilient.
Which
And
you are.
this is not something I can will better. And so yesterday I went to a doctor here and he was running through all the things he could do. He said, I don't want to give you a steroid shot because that could make things worse. And so decided to give me a shot in my ass. Uh,
It's never
which
not funny.
except like, wait,
You got me. You got
Kevin,
me
you're
with
gonna
that
love
one.
it. You're
I'm
gonna
sorry.
love it. So I got a shot of anti-inflammatory right on my butt, and as I have my drawers down, right, the nurse looks at me and says, "Honey, I had to look at your chart several times because I said there is no way you are in your 40s."
Mm,
As my butt is out, she's like, "You look fantastic," and I was like, "I'm gonna
yes.
take that because I'm also gonna take that," and both of those things are, and it was so
Yeah.
sweet and so kind. But so yesterday, last night, got to tell you, was running around because I could. Right after the shot, about a half hour later, I was able to jog. I was feeling it. I was like, gonna prove everybody wrong. I'm strong. I'm tough. And I was like, kind of ramping myself up, getting excited. My running partner and his wife are here. They're fantastic friends of mine. He's like, yeah, I could tell he was like trying to not get too excited because this is his first half marathon. And to have me run with him is going to be the most exciting thing.
Right.
This morning we got up to do a training run, and a mile in, it was like running on a nail.
Nope.
And I looked at him and he said, "You're not okay." And I said, "No." And he and I like ran to another mile, and he said, "You know what we got to do?" And I said, "Yeah, I gotta pull out." And then 13 seconds later, I started bargaining. Like you hear about grief being in stages. I was like, but what if this happens? And what if that happens? And he did a great thing. He said, "Here's what's going to happen. If you try to muscle through this, Sarah, mile one, you're going to run and it's going to hurt real bad, but you're going to be like in a stadium." And I used to run track and I've run in stadiums. So he's like, "You're going to be in a stadium, the Titan Stadium. You're going to feel really good. You're going to have a crowd. So you're going to run for a mile. And then you're going to be in so much pain by mile two that by mile three, you're going to be walking. Then you're going to start crying. And this is totally right, because you're going to know that
I can see it perfectly and clearly in my
you're going to
mind.
need to leave the race." And he said, in mile four, you're going to have to call an Uber to take you back, but you're not going to be able to find Amy. That's his wife. You're just going to be, and he's like, "Sarah, I know you're going to worry that you've disappointed me, that you're like a failure, all these things." He goes, "If you pull out today, like we can avoid you permanently damaging your, so all this sort of stuff." He had to like walk me through it. And I know that's the right thing to do, but it was really hard. And then I didn't realize all the things that were tied to it. So I started crying a little bit, and then he hugged me and we went over to the expo and pulled me from the race. And the guy that was working the counter was so nice. He looked at me, he said, "We're not supposed to do this, and don't get him in trouble." Whoever he was, but they moved me from one race to another. So I'll be able to run in April as if I had registered for April and not for this race. But tomorrow I'm going to watch a bunch of my teammates that run on my run team finish half marathons, and I'm going to be proud of them, but I am limping. And it's almost as if, yeah, I feel like the divine is like, just stop it. Cause it's worse than it's ever been.
I mean, the divine / your body / what's the difference? They're talking at you. And it's just like,
Loud.
I was talking to somebody else the other day. I'm just like, there is so much information that's coming from our bodies all of the time. I heard this, it was actually a TikTok, Jessamine's Garden, go follow her everywhere. But she says, I don't know who the fuck needs to hear this, and she says, you're not afraid of meditation. You're afraid of the noise that comes up. The noise is not the problem. The problem is you don't want to figure out what the noise is saying. And I'm like, that's it. Like, everyone thinks the noise is the problem. Like, the noise is the problem, and meditation is the way that you sit down and you sort that shit out.
Yeah.
I feel like once the mindfulness journey begins, it just like continues to go, and then once you like, it becomes easier to make choices that are helpful. And you made a choice that was helpful.
Yeah, and it's been really good, I think, for me to like wonder and kind of question into the dark about what was the worth coming from. Because this is not, guys, I am not running in the Olympics tomorrow. There was in no way, but there was like this thing where
you were paying to run in the race,
right?
Paying money to do it.
And do I still matter even if I can't? And so it's been fun having friends here who are like, "You are great. You're stubborn, and that's great, and we're proud of you, but also like know your limits." So that's been really hard for me. But it's been a really great trip. I got to like hang out with my brother and his girlfriend, and it's been such a great trip being back here. But I think right now there's this like big lesson for me. And I don't know who the hell needs to hear this, that like my worth really is not tied to the things that I for so long have allowed it to be tied to. My ability to perform as an athlete, my ability to perform as someone who works, like, so yesterday I missed
your ability to perform as a pastor, your ability to be a person online, your ability to communicate clearly the things you actually want when you actually don't know what you want yet, the whole nine.
The whole nine. So I am doing well It feels like it's been like a crazy emotional day. I've noticed my
That's
emotions
because it
are
has been.
right. My emotions are very strong right now. I also have a friend whose mom is really sick, and he's been texting me, and I've been feeling it. So that's what happens for me when I don't have
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity to work it out of my body. And so right now, I'm trying to figure out what she needs. What would be good for her to
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's okay that I can't walk. Like I limp, guys. My limp is aggressive right
I'm
now.
so
So
sorry.
thank you.
I mean, as somebody who has walked with a cane and has needed to pick up my cane a few times in my life, I am so sorry. It's very painful.
It
It
is.
also sucks to like you never know like this is like how, like so like with people who have like permanent disabilities and like
Mm-hmm.
really serious chronic pain. I just want to say I see you, I love you, and I wish I could give you a hug and tell
Yeah.
you that you're special to me. And I don't know.
My
It's
mom lives
hard
with chronic pain, and I think it's these days that I think about, wow, like the little irritants that she can feel. And
all the time.
but you feel so raw. You feel so raw when you're in pain, and especially like looking
Mm-hmm.
around. So the hardest thing for me too is like going to the expo and seeing these super fit people running their training laps.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I could do that, but I can't do it. And there's only one part of me that can't do it. And that's what life can be like, right? Like there's one
No,
thing holding us
and
back.
here's the thing: it's just like, oh, I should plug in my computer. Thank you, computer, for telling me.
Oh
Um,
gosh.
hold on 1 second, please.
You're fine. I'm reading the comments too, and uh Richard says, "Amen. I feel that as a musician when things go wrong." Yeah, you kind of like think your worth is tied up in it. Also, so I'm in Nashville, guys. There is live music everywhere, and when I
Mm.
say everywhere, I mean I walked by Taco Bell last night, and they had a guy performing in Taco Bell. Can you imagine him calling home to the Midwest, telling his family, "I finally got a gig in Nashville, and it's Taco Bell."
I mean, get your coins. Get your coins.
Get
I
your
also want to say, like, some people say, oh, there's only one part of me that can't do something. I'm actually just like, when a part of the body is sick, the whole
whole.
body is
Yeah,
sick.
that's a good point.
It's just like, no, it's like your body is incapable of doing this thing.
Yep.
And
Hmm.
that is just not a big deal. It's
No.
sad.
Well, and the other thing that Sean, that's my running partner, caught me saying, which was hysterical, is I said to him, you know, the thing is like if I pop all of the plantar fasciitis, the fasciitis, if I pop, what could happen mid run is that I would burst it. The doctor said I'll just be in a boot for like 8 weeks. I won't even have to have surgery. And he goes, "Do you hear yourself?" He's like, "Do you hear the words coming out of your
Yeah,
mouth?"
it's very interesting to me that like for me, if it's painful in any way, I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. And you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna win.
It is a weird, and it's a competitiveness that doesn't exist with other people. It's all internal.
Mm.
Um, and so I think there's this
Yeah,
like,
and that's the wild part to me is like
mhm,
nobody's making you do it. We like,
nobody.
but also just like so like that's your compulsion. Like my compulsion I mean, it's probably smoking weed, if I'm being honest, but like that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? One of these things is filling me with joy. Something is filling you with pain. So maybe they're not a good comparison. I'm just kidding. Okay, okay, all right.
All right, we should start talking. So that's moving out of how the hell are you?
Yeah. So thank you. If you haven't told us how the hell you are in the comments, please feel free to
Let
do
us know.
that.
Sick but not COVID sick.
Praise the
Jameson.
Lord.
Good to hear.
Um,
Tired and distracted. Sierra, I feel ya.
Never, not me. We're moving now into the part of our show where we're talking about the goings on of the world. I think we called it one time. We called it thoughts and prayers,
Just
or
to be
just
goofy. Did you hear?
did you hear? Basically, we talk about things going on in the world, Christian subculture, regular culture, everything in between. Um, do we want to start with the bullshit of the world, or do we want to
Our
start with
grievances?
yeah, let's start with grievances and end with
Sure.
serious discussion about the music this week.
Oh yeah, because a lot's happening. I met up actually with our friend who's a music producer this morning, who's like right across right now, and he is working with Lauren Daigle.
Ew.
She seems great, actually.
Listen, she went and sang open faced with ramen noodle hair man
Oh,
in
she did.
public. Yes, and also
Okay.
is So I'm just like, you can have her. She's got an amazing voice, but just guess what? Like, she's worshiping an idol right now. So I can't abide being with people who are unrepentant sinners. You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? So obviously the number one thing that's on both of our heads is what happened to, and I love that you wrote this in the notes. Kyle Rottenhouse, instead of, isn't his name Rittenhouse?
Fuck if I know.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, Kyle Rittenhouse was fully acquitted. If you haven't caught the news or been on social media in the past 4 hours or so, like I went to take a dirt nap this afternoon because I was so fucking tired, and then when I woke up, that was on Twitter, and I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
it kind of came on a weird, because I had just read the news about the clemency.
For
Uh,
Julius Jones.
for Julius Jones. And I thought, okay, here's something. We're making a little bit of progress here. Now, he still got life in prison, and we're still dealing with the fact that most likely he is not guilty. And then this came up, and there is no question this man killed some people. And the problem is that the prosecution did not do a great job at all. Um,
I mean, I also think that fucking judge was out of his mind. Like, you can't call those people victims. Okay, because like here's the
because
deal.
one of them pulled a gun.
Here's the deal. Is even if they are stealing things, even if that is true,
They still
is
were murdered.
is the punishment for theft, for petty theft, death? And who gets to decide that? Certainly not Kyle Rittenhouse, but apparently so. And
Yeah.
also, I do not see. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It's a fucked up system. I mean, like people were saying. I mean, also, I am not shocked.
No.
I'm not shocked in the slightest
no.
because it's just like,
No.
and like a lot of people were hoping because of what was happening with the Chauvin murder trial.
Right.
They're like, okay, so this is progress. We're finally moving to. No, it depends on where you fucking are in the world, in the country. And also,
Yeah.
I will say this is not a bipartisan thing. This isn't a polarized thing. Something I read, it was a Washington Post article actually said, it's not polarization. It's actually the radicalization of the Republicans. Like to a point where we got to recognize like it's off the fucking deep end at this point.
I think we've got like a off the deep end, because I really do feel like we've got some pretty crazy.
I mean, I am a socialist and a leftist. I'm not a liberal. So I'm ready to burn it all down. I'm getting my passport. I'm going somewhere else. I don't care where. It's probably not better anywhere else, but I'm just tired of being here.
I think it's us. So I went whiskey tasting the day before yesterday at in a town, Lynchburg, and I actually was speaking.
Lynchburg, Virginia, home of Liberty University, the biggest evangelical
This is
college
Lynchburg,
in
Tennessee.
Oh, I thought you were in Lynchburg, Virginia.
I was in Lynchburg, Tennessee.
Confused. That's why I was like, why are you in Lynchburg?
Well, so that's where the what's his name? Help me. Gentleman Jack Daniels is the Jack Daniels. So we were there to go to the distillery, but we pull up, and I'm with my friends who are from California, and right, we've got some like different experiences. We pull up, and it's a Civil War store, and this guy is like,
oh shit.
And so we already kind of had this weird feeling. It was very weird, like very weird feeling. And then we get to the distillery, and I have to say, the coolest thing was that there was an entire section of it that was all about the family of the man that Jack Daniels they worked together. He was black, and he was the one who taught him how to make whiskey. And the two of them, it's the neatest story. And Jack Daniels has always employed. So once the man became so he was a slave originally. Then he became freed, and he still wanted to work at the distillery, so stayed in the community. And then every one of his descendants, still to this day, they have family that work at the Jack Daniels distillery. And the museum spent a good amount of time talking about it, and the tour guide talked about it and then said, "Hey, the family has their own distillery now. Go visit it. It's down the they have this like
Mm,
cool big huge center." And I thought, and they have like prom pictures of their family, like
that's
more
awesome.
of that actually Jack Daniel's family, because they say he was the first black master brewer of whiskey.
I love that. What
So
a
that
treat. What
was
a dream.
right, but we needed it because we were feeling very uncomfortable. But there was a man on the tour that was French, and I could tell because he's speaking French. And so, for whatever reason, my brain switched over and I started speaking French to him. He had on a T-shirt that he must have been given by his hosts
Hmm.
because he had these two people that he was with that said it had an American flag on the back, and it said, "If you don't like it here, I'll help you pack."
A Frenchman was wearing that.
Well, it was a gift, right? Like he was given to him by.
And of course, he probably doesn't read English.
I mean, he does. He probably. Um, but it was just one of these moments where I was like, that is, to me, that's the antithesis of the American story. Like, if you look at the real history, right? The real
Oh, yeah.
history was the idea of like, if you don't like it here, share why. And let's like, it was never, because that's what happened in England, right? The whole like British whole thing was that there was this sense you couldn't fight against what was happening, and so they left to
Hmm.
come here, and now everybody has a voice, right? Suppose everyone has a
I
voice.
mean, like,
No.
I will say the argument I'm putting out there is just like the Puritans wanted freedom of religion for themselves
Mm,
and
right.
nobody else.
That's true.
And I think like that's like where like we kind of like is like it's religious freedom, just like no, sort of, maybe. Like I can
Right.
understand. Um, but those puritanical laws are still like at the root of like so many of our bullshit laws today. Like it's the reason why you can't buy alcohol until 12:30 on a Sunday in Atlanta.
You can't.
Nope. Except for unless you're buying it from a bar, then you can get it at 11. The brunch laws. We actually had to write an amendment and vote on it as a
A French
city.
law. Well, Jack Daniels is in a dry county.
A dry county?
Hmm.
I hate it here. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. The South is a bum ass, dumbass place. I want out.
No, there is beautiful things about the South.
I mean, I know that I live here, but I got a fucking house here, and it's also bullshit.
um, one of the things I want us to like touch on a little bit is our dear friend Grace was featured 2 days ago, I believe, in the Washington Post. And our friend Chris Hauser, who has never spoken publicly about his absolute support of the LGBTQIA community, is someone who works
Mm-hmm.
in the, and I want to say it right, Contemporary Christian, the CCM.
Mm-hmm. TCM
Uh,
World. Yeah.
CCM World. I mean, Amy Grant. I mean, he is phenomenal. And he actually let them use his name because he believes in grace so strongly. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone else spoke under like in the dark. All these record executives were like, the LGBTQI community, like pretty soon, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out and just was like, no, like now.
No,
And
that's the thing. Just like it is happening, and also if we're
because you
talking about
can't
our
control
friend, yeah, we're
speech. Yeah,
talking about our friend
Grace
Grace Baldridge
Aldridge.
slash Semler is the artist name. I also
Mhm.
have one of their shirts. I'll pull it when I go get my tequila. I'll put it on.
Oh, did you get one of the I'll shut this blind because we got
Mm.
like this is what's happening if I had left the window open, guys.
I
Sorry.
mean, I like it. I think it's like contrast, like good contrasting lighting. It
Mm.
gives those like cool shadowy effects.
But the article was saying what's been really cool about streaming and things
Mm-hmm.
like that is that artists now there isn't as many gatekeepers. The hard part is the real money
Mm-hmm.
is made in tours.
Mm-hmm.
And so really as we get out of this, hopefully, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but as we hopefully are turning a corner on being able to have large gatherings, we need to
Mm-hmm.
start talking about what does it look like to even start to level the playing field of being able to have concerts that queer folks are
Mm.
getting paid the amount of money they should be getting.
Yeah. And also like I know I've said this to you, and I will say it again. I want to win a fucking Grammy for Best Christian Album or
Hmm.
Best Christian Music Performance.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
Like the because like I mean like I just think like if fucking Hillsong is if that's what we're doing, I'm just like, we can do something so much better and also include everyone, and then it will actually heal people.
Oh, I
I,
just like love that Grace's the fact that people know who Grace is, that
mm-hmm.
they know who they are, like just feels I don't know. It was just neat to see. I felt this. I literally texted them and was just like, "Oh my gosh, thank you. Like this your work is so great." And so hopefully it will give some kids who need to hear that they are loved and great and their experience in youth group is valid. And one
Yeah.
more thing before we move on to full music. Did you know, you probably didn't notice, you and I got labeled as toxic theology. Did you see that?
No!
You didn't see
Where?
it?
Text it to me right now.
Blake Chastain actually, well, I just blocked the account. There was a account created on Instagram called Toxic Theology, and basically it just went through yours and mine and anyone who's involved in a Reverent Media group and anyone who's associated with Dirty Rotten Church Kids, and just like basically, but it was a bait and switch because they did this video about toxic theology. It was like anytime God's talked about as an angry God, then that's toxic theology, and here's some more toxic theology, and it was us.
I'm toxic? Like that's like, you're right. You know, I'm
Well,
toxic because I drink, I smoke, I have sex under the full moon.
I was
Um,
just laughing because all I could think about is as soon as you read that, in my mind, you would start singing Britney Spears' toxic song.
bum bum ba-dum, ba-dum.
But also Josie, our other dear friend who's part of Reverend Media Group, she writes like, so Blake like asked all of us, hey, like I just want to give you an opportunity to block this guy. Like I've checked out all this thing. He's following all of us only.
Like,
And he's
here's the deal, just like,
so I knew your reaction was gonna be the same as Josie. Josie's
wait,
like,
I'm just
I'm
gonna,
leaving him. I'm not blogging him. This is gonna be fun. And I was like, oh my
oh yeah,
gosh.
I'm gonna pull it up. We're gonna look this up right now. Let's just do a screen share
No,
moment.
we shouldn't.
Why not?
We're encouraging the troll.
It's just, what is the handle? Just toxic theology?
I think it's just toxic theology.
No posts yet. Maybe it got blocked. Maybe it got taken down.
Maybe. Really? There's no post yet? Any stories?
It just says no post. Is it toxic underscore theology? This account is private.
Oh.
I don't know. I can't, if I'm on there, I can't see it. So
Okay. Well, maybe they were because yeah, so I just think it's fascinating that someone would go to all the trouble to sort of like create an account just to say,
oh no, like it makes perfect sense. That's what obsession does.
yeah.
Like, and like that's the thing is it just, like, if I feel like people like that, it's just, I'm just like, what are you getting out of this? Like, I would really love just like to like, for sometimes like, I don't want to have a long conversation, just 15 minutes maybe, where I would love to just sit with this person and be like, so like, what are you feeling right now?
Yeah.
Like,
Let's get in
it's just
there.
like, I'm like, tell me about like, what is it about me that fills you, that makes you think that this is toxic? And also just like, can you point out to me what the fruit of my toxic theology is? Show me the place. Like, that's the thing, is if you can tell me where my toxic behavior is, I actually would love to know so that I could fix it. However, comma, you got to look at, like, again, where's the fruit? You know, what's the harvest like? And my harvest right now is honestly, like, I had a couple of my clients text me and say, hey, like, this has been really super fucking helpful. Like, overall, stellar reviews.
Well, I think I just find it's the bait and switch that I wanted to talk, like the idea of like God is a loving God, right? Um
God
and
is loving, but God is also just.
right. And it's like a little bit of like the stuff that you and I have joked around about before, like what does that mean and what does that really look like and how are you living that out in your life? And people are so it comes from a good place of wanting to like protect people kind of, but it also comes from a place of being afraid and filled with fear and filled
Yeah.
with like what if I'm wrong?
Yeah. It's like, I mean, it's not even a what if I'm wrong. They're convinced that they're right. That's the thing. It's like
But
there's no
are they?
possibility. And like that's what I would love to just ask him, just like, how do you know that to be true? And also just like, can you know for certain? And then just like, no, but that's what faith is. I'm just like, okay, but just like faith in some like I'll tell you what, at least for me, that I am completely sure of my path. Not that I know everything or I'm certain about things, but I have clarity and I have
Hmm.
peace. And I tell you what, it does not seem to be the same case for those people.
No. So anyway, that's us. So just to let you guys know,
So
you're
yeah,
now listening to the Toxic Theology
yeah,
podcast.
Toxic Theology podcast sponsored by House of Gucci in theaters next week. I don't.
Ooh, you had it written down here to talk about it, and I was like, what? What do you want to say about it?
I just want to talk about. It is so funny to me how like I don't know if you've read like some of the interviews with
Mm-mm.
Lady Gaga. She's like, yeah, um I was studying the eroticism of panthers and how they seduce their prey, and I'm like, I love how you're inventing acting, girl. Like this is
Here's the thing about Lady Gaga that I've said it before, and I'm obsessed with this notion that one time when she was engaged and she was in a really serious relationship,
mhm,
Stephanie was. Uh, a reporter asked him, "What is it like to be engaged to Lady Gaga?" And he said, "I wouldn't know. I'm not engaged to Lady Gaga. I'm engaged to Stephanie. Lady Gaga is a character." And I thought,
mm.
ooh,
My
she
question
is.
is, would she say that?
Yeah, so she talked about it. She said she created this person when things hurt,
Mm-hmm.
to hear all the critiques, to whatever. She created a person beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
So Lady Gaga is a person beyond
Mm.
Stephanie. And so you
She's
can,
the creative force behind.
right. So you can critique and go at Lady Gaga all you want, but Stephanie is not available.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
good.
and a lot of people, Madonna has suggested that that's why her mental health has been okay through all of this, is because
Mm-hmm.
there is Madonna, and then I don't actually know what Madonna's real name is.
Who does?
That's the point.
Hello.
Hello. So, yeah, I thought this was really
So yeah,
fascinating.
I'm gonna go see it because fucking I love Lady Gaga. She can do no wrong to me.
She's
Like A
pretty
Star Is
amazing.
Born, I don't care if that was the weirdest movie ever. I don't care if it was like a like Oscar bait bullshit. It was still fucking dope.
She won me over in a place that most people probably. It was when she was judging on a show called So You Think You Can Dance, which as a former dancer was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, that show I remember. I
Uh,
loved it.
oh, I loved it. Fell in love with so many of the dancers, but there was a moment when someone danced an incredible dance and she took her shoe off and threw it at them. And that
Mm.
doesn't make sense to anyone else but dancers. So if someone dances a performance
Or
that
you're
is,
in church because
yeah, right. But it's the whole idea of like, your dance has made it so that I can no longer dance. Like I'm throwing my shoe.
yeah,
I'm
or it's just
over.
like I'm on holy ground. I
I'm on
gotta
holy ground.
uh uh
And I
uh.
just thought, I love that about her, that she is such a performer, that she knows the take your shoe off rule.
Mm, beautiful.
Yeah,
We'll kind of like hop through the next couple of things.
sure.
Harry Styles being on the covers of a few things wearing femme clothing all over the place being celebrated. Love it. And
And
also my beef is, well, I don't need. It's the same thing with Shawn Mendes and him being single again. Everyone's like, is Shawn Mendes gay? I don't think it's helpful to speculate about people's sexuality. Do I think they're both queer? Absolutely, I do. But that's another story for another time, because I believe that we need to make it safe for straight people and straight cis dudes to be soft.
mm,
That's one thing. So that's the one good thing, and it still just boils my cabbage or burns my biscuits or pisses me the fuck off, however you want to put it, that uh, that there have been queer people, gender transgressing in their attire and appearance who are killed every
right.
single, like so often. This year alone, there are
It's the
45
most.
transgender people, mostly black trans women, who have been killed just for being trans in public. And so it's so wild to me how Harry Styles is getting paid for it. And that's
My
like,
That's why I love when you say "and," because I think there is that side of, like, how does it become normalized unless,
mhm.
unfortunately, people with privilege embrace those who all
Yeah.
you know? So it's like, yes.
I just wish also he would like be a little bit more explicit about it, and also
Mm,
like, partner with other people who are queer fashion folks, like Alok, for
like,
example.
create a platform, like, kind of yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
don't just be hot.
Don't just be
Like,
hot, use your hot.
I'm so serious. You would make,
Yeah.
and this is also what I think is so interesting is that like the way the world is trending right now, it is in your best interest to be the one doing this kind of thing. Like, this is why I think like Lizzo has so much success across the board. Is not only is she talking about like getting her whole life, but she is still educating and being a part. Not that everyone is like forced to be an educator, but she just
No.
like. And this is also the thing. Like, not everyone has to be an educator and blah blah blah. I just know that this is what I want, and this is what I
Well,
would.
I think what you want, and I'm not saying that everyone has to be an educator, but even my conversations today that I had with a couple of friends where we're recognizing our own platform ability is there with that comes when you have privilege, there comes a responsibility. So Harry Styles is different than if it were a like outwardly gay man,
Hmm.
then it would be hard to ask for more of them. Does that make sense? Like asking more of the person who's already just simply by existing, having to be an example, a teaching moment, whatever.
Hmm.
Like so many of my friends are tired of being a teaching moment. They
Mm.
just want to be. But for
Yeah,
those of us who just get to be,
yeah.
then
I.
I think it's okay to say, could you
Mm,
use this thing that has given you so much
hmm.
as a moment?
Can I tell you the feeling that just came up in me, and I just realized what it was?
What is it?
It's actually just extreme jealousy.
Mm,
It's incredible jealousy. Like, it's like, well, how come he can do that and I can't? I'm just like, well, Kevin, you can.
you can and you do, babe.
Not enough. Not as much as I want to.
That's a
Like,
good thing to notice.
yeah. I mean, granted, it's fucking cold outside, so like wearing skirts right now, fuck that, no. But there is just,
There's the practical side of it.
yeah. I am noticing I'm having a lot more. Okay, this is, I need to start believing the data. When I go out and I'm wearing like a bold lip and makeup and I'm just a little bit more femme, I'm getting more attention from dudes. Like that is, I'm dead serious. I didn't expect this to happen, at least because like in the cool bars that I go to in Atlanta, it's cool to be femme. But I've just noticed like there's so much power in the feminine,
Do you
and
think
I
it's
just need,
that, or do you like, yes, absolutely. Or do you think that it's because you're tapping into a part of you that makes you more comfortable, makes
mm-hmm,
you more available,
mm-hmm, mm,
approachable?
mm. How interesting. Circular. So those are the things with that. Harry Styles, Shawn Mendes, we thank you for your service.
Yes, we do. And maybe
Before,
add some more.
yes, we'll do one more. Did you hear before we get into questions, Q and O's?
Before
Um,
we go to the Q and O's, questions and opinions, thoughts and
we
prayers,
we have to,
don't forget to put tequila in your drink. And I'm
yeah,
going to shut
that's
this thing. But what's the next thing that you want to talk about? Do you want to talk
if
about Taylor and Adele?
I want to talk about how the community has been wrecked. We have been put on the sick and shut in list. We are at home weeping. The sea levels have rose
The
4 feet.
sea
Like
levels have rose.
Miami is underwater, like
Um,
100%. Because Taylor Swift's Red, Taylor's Version, and Adele's newest album 30
30.
just came out today. I have listened to it, listened through it.
I haven't listened through it yet.
Oh,
So good.
a treat and a dream. Now, granted, I
Mm.
will say I have listened to the 10-minute version of whatever that Taylor song is. I'm just like, this is like when Hillsong like made a 14-minute version of Oceans. Just because you can does not mean you should always. I feel like every girl out here is trying to make her lemonade, and it's just like
Every
I'm
girl
so
out here just trying to make her lemonade.
Every girl out here is trying to make a goddamn lemonade. Even Fergie tried to make her lemonade. Had a whole ass movie with it.
Honey. She tried.
And also, I just want to say, like, I think it's so wild too that like every album now must have an accompanying visual album with it.
I know, it's a lot of work. I mean, I guess it's because we lost MTV, you know?
Yeah, I am glad the format is evolving.
But like short films, that's a lot of pressure. You can't
yeah.
release a song until you have a short film.
Yeah. In our next life. Hey, Grace, do you want to do a film together? That'd be fun.
Oh, I would love that.
Oh my God, I'm so hungry. I just realized that.
Actually, check out my friend dropped an album, IV King. I.V King. Queer, incredible. Her and her wife are insane and has her visuals for her album is so good. But a very small artist, if you just want to check them out on YouTube, I.V King. Such good stuff. Speaking about like visual artists who are just insane. Like she's out here with a perm. Like she's permed her hair.
Oh, that's what I want.
And she's like hilarious. She like kind of is gender fluid in that like wears guys' clothes sometimes, but she's just so adorable. Like just such an adorable person. And so great. So yes, thank you also to Taylor and Adele. Being in Nashville and seeing all the Taylor stuff is pretty funny and pretty great.
I love it. Also, my right here is still kind of numbish from earlier. Will it come back? Will I get my hands back?
You'll get your hands back.
I don't like it. It makes me feel strange.
And strange. It makes me feel strange.
It makes me feel so strange. Okay, we're gonna take a quick little breaky, and we're gonna run to get our drinkies
because we have abandonment issues.
Don't leave. Go get your drink and come back, or whatever.
I'm just gonna go shut the blind. You guys are all gonna see that I'm limping.
And then when Sarah gets back, she will tell you a joke.
I will tell you a joke.
She will.
I'm real good at that. Hold on. Friends, can you see me better? Is that better? Like literally that was right in my eyeball. If anyone is still on, give me a shout out. I'd love to know if you're still listening. Okay, jokes. Gosh. Is anyone else terrible at having like canned jokes? I'm horrible at canned jokes, especially like appropriate ones. I never can remember them. So that's the problem with me. So good. Perfect. I'm really glad. Yeah, the lighting's much better, huh? All right, friends. Oh, Richard, it's good to see you. Thank you. Thank you, John, for saying this is good lighting. Is it better? Oh, Kevin's back.
All right. We're gonna get in a fight.
My face was so tired from squinting.
Okay, I just want to say in the future, the moment that you feel uncomfortable or in pain, you should do something about it. Do you see but that's the micro version of everything right there. Isn't that interesting?
It's good. Jameson has a joke for us. What do you get when you cross a parrot with a tiger?
What
do you think?
I'm not sure. I would like to say this is the answer. I don't know, but if it wants a cracker, you best give it one. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here with that joke.
Jameson. Well, because I said I can never remember jokes. Like I'm so good at I love a stand-up moment. Like I love that kind of thing. Like I like to create a character. I like to goof in it. But I can never on the fly when people are tell a joke. I'm always like
I mean I have my 3 to 4 long stupid dad jokes.
Yeah, I have a couple of those, but I can't remember them all. I can't. It's the only thing. I have zero stage fright. My fright is when especially because I was a camp counselor for so long, and they'd be tell an appropriate joke, and I'm all I can think about is boobs and penises right now. I can't. Yeah. When you tell me to be appropriate, I'm incapable.
That's why I don't think we should ever be appropriate. Appropriate for who?
I'd like to tell you that I have now switched over to the canned Moscow Mule.
Very nice. I have some just tequila and soda water. Um,
Because you
uh,
CrossFit.
no, because my friend bought me a really nice bottle of tequila for my birthday. So this is
Yay.
32.
Yay. All right. So this is a section, question and opinion. Do you have any questions? I don't have any.
Oh, I have plenty. And
Okay.
I'm kind of drawing this from
Are you putting some together?
no, so a couple of weeks ago, I'm drawing these from hold on, I gotta pull up my bookmark tweets. Where are my bookmarks? Profile. Okay, if anyone knows where your bookmarks are on list,
Tweets
top
on the
bookmarks is the
Twitters?
one. It's the one labeled bookmarks. So I put out a question for just the internet, and I said, "Hey, if you're like in spiritual deconstruction or Christian
Okay.
deconstruction or whatever, what's the thing you're struggling with the most with, and why?" And I wanted to just pull on some of those topics and just get into it a little bit. Because last week we actually touched on one that was a huge one, or at least like one of the trends I saw in there, which was I don't believe in hell anymore. And but so like if heaven's not real either, if there is no conscious afterlife, what
Right.
do
That
I
was
do?
such a good question.
Yeah. And so I'm just kind of going through real quick. Um I think so that was one of them, but the actual biggest one that people were talking about was um a lack of community. Like I think this is
Yes.
something we are learning and vastly over or underestimated about what we came from, like the value
Mm,
of having people who you called friends,
right.
like, and the loneliness. So, one of this person, I'm struggling with the lack of community, extreme loneliness. I feel like I've wasted the good years of my life, and now I'm struggling to fit in anywhere. And so, just like, I wanted to kind of like get into that a little bit.
Yeah, actually, I think
So,
that's great on our podcast that will be coming out in the new year. Myself and Justin Gentry, one of the questions we asked is like, did I waste? So we have a podcast coming out called Rev Recovery for people who are either leaving ministry or leaving volunteering in ministry or thinking about leaving those
mhm,
things. Rev Recovery, and we are talking about, did I waste those
mhm,
years?
mhm,
I I would say Kevin and I have come to this place where both of us feel like nothing's wasted. And so I think
hmm.
I think for me, I
Yeah,
feel
I mean, I approach it from a different thing, but you keep going, and then I'll tell you where I come
yeah,
from.
yeah. So I think like you didn't waste those years. I think um they we can't go back, and I think that's important to like make peace with where we've been. For me and all the work and effort I put into building church communities, for me it was a little easier, right? Because it wasn't building something that's necessarily been a toxic place for
Yeah,
folk.
yeah,
But so there is some like, okay, I'm lucky in that I don't feel like I harmed people, and so I think when you feel like you harm people, it feels a little bit wasted.
oh
By a
yeah,
little bit I mean a lot. um so yeah, I think there are some things that we can look back with fondness.
hmm
So what are the things that we're grateful for? And that's not making a lie. It's not oversimplifying it.
hmm
Um, yeah. What were you gonna say about how you look back on the past?
I mean, I think I'm just kind of when I'm thinking about like the process of like what it was to mourn the loss of that
Mm,
community, because like if you haven't grieved, if you haven't really cried about it, you really need to. But it was one of those things where it was like I felt very foolish, and I felt like they stole something from me.
mm,
Or took something from me that I'm never gonna get those years, and that's
those
true.
years
Like,
back.
I'm never gonna get my teen years back. I'm never gonna
Hmm.
get my early 20s back. When like
Hmm.
so like for a lot of us, like we lament uh, the ways in which we could have or wanted to explore our sexuality, and a lot of us have like feelings of being like sexually or socially stunted as a result of that. Um, so the way I had to approach it was like because like I can't really see the value in what happened. Like just like I suffered abuse.
Mhm.
And so the way I put it is just like whether or not it was wasted. Like if it was wasted, it's like, all right, so what?
Mm.
So you got lied to, so you were stuck in a system for that long and it fucking was horrible. They did you wrong. And now what would you like to do?
Mm.
And that for me, I think is where I had to hang my hat because it's just like I don't want to like put value where there's valueless. I will say like every time like it's like when we get stuck in that story of they hurt me, they hurt me, they hurt me. You know,
Right.
when we hold them as the object of our negative attention, recognizing I don't want to do that again. I don't want to get hurt again. I'm like, you know a lot about what you don't want to feel, but you don't know a whole lot about what you do want to feel now.
Oh, that's such an important, like, what you don't want in community,
Hmm.
and did it also maybe teach you what you do want?
And that's the thing is this is again the conclusion I came to is that at minimum, not saying I want to put meaning where there's no meaning,
Mm.
but like if I look at these experiences as like in that moment of discomfort that something bad happened, automatically there was something in me that knew exactly what I wanted.
Mm.
And so but the thing was just like, did I move towards that thing that I wanted? Did I feel free enough to do it? Did I think I had access to it? No, I did not because I thought I had to stay here in order to stay holy. And so therefore, like I kept, doing, I was caught in the loop. So all that
I
to say is like, you got to forgive yourself, even because you may, like, if you were the person who caused harm, make it, the fifth step of the 12-step program is make amends as long as you're not causing harm.
Mhm.
So maybe apologize to people
Right.
who are on your heart, so to speak. Unless it's going to like cause a really, really strong reaction in that person. Um,
And even if it does, you can't be responsible
yeah,
for
yeah,
uh, everything. Because
yeah.
I think that's a hard part too. Is as I'm working with a lot of pastors who are transitioning out of the pastorship, I think it's okay to seek forgiveness if you need to, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I think it's important for us to recognize that we're making ourselves central again. Sometimes some
Mm,
of us need to step out of the center. So
yeah,
it's kind of a both end.
yeah. Listen to your heart. Ask a friend. Get some
Mm.
advice on it. What would you say, Sarah? Like, who are your friends outside of Churchland now? How do you make friends? How do you find community? What have you been
Hmm.
doing?
So the crazy thing for me is um, the friendships that I've been making lately, like new friends, right? So I have friends like you that I met within the sphere in some ways, even the stepping out sphere, right? So I think it's okay for folks to find like a deconstructing community. That's great. But I
I mean,
think
it definitely the shared experience certainly helps.
certainly helps. Uh, as I started sharing more about my personal life on Instagram, like my Airstream, my, whatever it might be, I've found a lot of actual friends in that space, people who are fascinated in those things, people who don't really care about Pastor Sarah, like she's interesting, but that's not the main thing about me that fascinates them. I feel like I've been able to make friends. Truthfully, my running community is
Mm,
a pretty strong friend group. Um, but I think it's always hard to make friends as adults. And I think we kind of lost the ability to do that when we started making just our primary partnership the
mm-hmm.
most important thing. And that's not just Christianity, that's within American culture when we look at
Yeah,
like
that's Western culture for
Hallmark,
sure.
right? Instead of saying like it's important for us to have friendships. And more studies are telling us that when it's an all or nothing marriage, it's most likely going to fail because
Oh,
that's the model of American and Western. When I say American, I mean North American.
mm-hmm.
Um, understandings of marriage. A lot of understandings of marriage is like
It's like
primary,
Western capitalism. It's
right?
always all or nothing at all.
All or nothing.
When you go to
And
your work, you got to give your best all the
give your
time. When you
best.
do, and I think that's also what we do with our healing. Is like we got to muscle our way into it.
Yeah. And so I think there's this like really interesting thing where we've lost the ability to have adult friends. So yesterday I was laughing because I was downstairs in the bar here at the hotel as we were getting ready to go out.
Mhm.
for dinner and meet up with some of our friends. We met up with Lillian, and so, it was I was listening to this group of guys try to like connect with each other. Clearly, they've worked together but never met,
Mhm.
and they were telling old fraternity stories. And I was
Oof,
like,
da theta.
I
Sign
was
me
just
up because I will swap fucking stories.
it.
Hoofda. It's a whole thing.
It was a whole thing, but it was kind of actually a little bit cute.
Mhm.
And as someone who loves to like watch people, there was this like older woman sitting with her friend, and they were having, drinks before they went to the orchestra. And there were like all these people having these like friendship encounters.
Mhm.
And I think as an adult, I have learned to begin friendships based on a little bit of affinity. We learned not,
Mhm.
and by affinity, I mean like, what do you like to do? And do
Yeah.
that, and then you'll meet your people.
Mhm.
We learned, a lot of us within church culture, that we were only supposed to stay like, God, I hope I can find church people who also like to camp, instead of what if I just went
Oh
to
yeah.
REI and met all the camping people.
Yeah.
Um, there are so many opportunities, and I want to say, because I think this is really important to say, adults are lonely. Other people feel the way you feel,
Mhm.
especially now that we're in a gig culture where a lot of people don't have coworkers.
Mhm.
I think that you have to find something, like whatever it might be.
Mhm.
Sierra shared right there, if you want to pull that one up, like finding people who have a similar interest or group of thing. So I'm finding the ethically non-monogamous community super strong
A
when it comes
A.
to creating space for community to flourish, at least in the communities I've been exposed to.
Yep.
That's
I
not my
would
jam, but
I
that's
would
other people's jams.
I mean with anything it's just like I think like me, I think that non-monogamy is the future and the present and the past actually. If we, it's always been. Um anyways, um
What about you, Kev? Where do you find friends outside of?
um outside of what we do here on the internets.
Yeah, because I
I
think
mean, if I'm being frank, like a lot of my closest friends. Well, I've got that. It's very interesting. Is I have a very rich friendship with many people that I've met online, uh, and I also in Atlanta. I actually have real ass friends that I hang out with in real life, and it's truly a treat and a dream. Um, this is gonna sound silly. A lot of them I go to church with.
that doesn't sound silly.
Um, uh, so for me, like that, it was like I go to a progressive, affirming, dope ass church, and that has allowed me just a natural little slice of community with people who are interesting and intelligent, and they're people whom, we go out on Saturday nights and we also sing in the choir on Sunday morning. So it's like, it's there's no separation of our worlds, which is really cool. Like they're the people who they were there when my dad died. When I was flat broke, they helped me out. It's just they're my people, and I'm very very lucky. Um, I think where I've been meeting friends now is funny enough. Like if you get on the apps and you're actually sincere about wanting to make friends, I think it's possible. So like I've actually met a few friends on Grinder. Cause like if you really just say like, hey, you look cool, you wanna go hang out, you wanna grab a drink, like, ain't no harm. It's actually a lot more fun. Um,
That's been something that you really challenged me in, that I've been really grateful for. Because of purity culture, because of my experience of being a woman in the South in leadership, I used to be so afraid of leading people on,
mm,
even in friendship. And because so many people were given boundaries around being a friend to me.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Um,
the thing. It's just like you couldn't like it's like it was always because like your partnership with anyone you could be romantically attracted to had to end in
the
marriage.
end goal was a certain thing, which is ownership, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like questioning that and thinking like it's not a failure if I'm just a friend with someone. And most of my closest friends are actually guys, and that's just a natural thing because of some of my likes that are traditionally guy. Like I'm a sports person.
Mm-hmm.
You make fun of me for being the straight, but seriously, like I like to watch sports. I want to sit and watch sports. So those are the people I'm naturally inclined to be around. And I think there's so much to be said about you find your people when you are your people, and by that I mean when you're doing the thing that brings you joy. Or like
Mm-hmm.
last night I saw this like cider tasting, this really cool cider bar here had cider tasting, cider brewery, and it was a
Mm-hmm.
meetup. And you saw these people meet each other for the first time over cider, which is like whatever. If alcohol's not your thing, that's fine. There's like tea tastings or whatever. And
There is
they
something for you.
connected. Yes, that's
Like,
how.
are you are you an anime freak weirdo? You need to go to one of those cons. Like me,
Absolutely.
like I love going to like Dragon Con in Atlanta. You
You
meet the
do?
cool, oh my god, yes. You meet the coolest fucking people. Have I ever cosplayed? No. I don't have time, energy, or patience to try and create elaborate costumes. Like, um, not until I become the drag queen of my dreams.
I love it. Have I ever cosplayed? No. Would I?
If I, it really is like, it's just time and effort, and just like I am gay and tired.
One of the things someone wrote, can we have a your favorite ants camp? And I think this all ties around this
Mm,
because there is something about an affinity and a connection that happens around hearing that you're okay and then meeting other people who are okay with themselves. Like there's just this sort of like the work that you and I get to do. I think one of my favorite things is that we get to connect people with other people, and people who maybe have engaged our work then engage each other and don't even need us anymore, right?
that's the
Um,
goal. That's what actual
right,
community is, and that is also the way I think spiritual community needs to work. Is it's not so much like a cult of personality.
right.
It is literally just connecting people with relationships and resources. Ooh, come on,
Yes,
somebody.
relationship resources and themselves, and not being afraid to be honest about what you want and need and what you enjoy. Because so many people are acting like they enjoy things that they just don't enjoy, but they're trying to do that so that they can like fit into the ideal, right?
Hmm.
Yikes. So hopefully that was helpful with how do I find a friend when I'm an adult? I know
Yeah,
it's hard.
yeah.
And just
Also,
admitting
like,
it's hard.
admit that it's hard. Try some things. Recognize that you're not gonna strike gold every time. Meaning like sometimes like if this, because like this is the thing. This is something, of course, in Miracles would say. Like a lot of times, like we go into spaces and we don't have a goal in mind, and then things just happen, and then we
Hmm.
just like, oh my god, that happened because I'm an idiot or because I don't have experience. Or you know, we put all this pressure on ourselves to perform rather than saying in the get go, like, what is my goal here? What would I like to have happen?
Hmm.
You know, if I go into a situation, so when I go out, usually, like, I have to tell myself, like, I intend to have a good time tonight. I intend to see my friends, and if there's an opportunity to make sex times with someone, I embrace it. But my number one thing is I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna have a good time. Period. And I'm only gonna do that which serves that end. And so, just setting that very, very small intention of saying I'm gonna go make a friend. Like I've actually said I want to go out and make a new friend tonight, and a lot of times I do. So, um, it's really really amazing what the brain and the mind and spirit does. It's like when I have that intention of like I just want to make a friend tonight.
And it's okay for you to, for those of you who are leaving spiritual communities to go find friends,
Hmm.
um, you're going to be uncomfortable sometimes.
Maybe, especially because you think that nobody understands you, but just like if they don't understand you, just fucking explain it to them. Like you think it's weird. You think that you're the freak. Well, guess what? Maybe you kind of are, but guess what? That doesn't mean that you're bad.
But it also, like, you might be uncomfortable with the way that other people live their lives or all the things that you've been told are
Oh
not okay.
yeah, that's real.
Like, it's okay for you to say, whoa, this is a lot. Like, I am so grateful for the friends that I've made that were for me, pushing myself beyond how I live my life with the recognition that how they live their life does not affect
Mhm.
how I live my life.
Yeah. And that
And
I mean like that's like you and me all the time when I talk about me being non-monogamous. Like I can tell sometimes it gets a little like crunchy for you.
and there
And
are
that
times when I say it to you, and you are so gracious with me.
yeah.
And like we have a good laugh about it because you'll yell and say, "You're so
Mhm.
monogamous and straight."
Yeah.
And that doesn't
And
hurt
that,
my feelings. It's
yeah.
just a statement.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I don't need your feelings about me to change for me to be happy. And I don't need other people to change for me to be happy.
No.
And that's the thing is like when you recognize that you and maybe this is just my recognition this week is just my only thing I'm supposed to do right now is to hold myself at the center of my well-being.
Mm.
And when I do that, I am most powerful.
And it is different than like, I guess the thing is like friendships are so much more meaningful or maybe easy, I think, when you
Hmm.
don't need other people to be something. And I know that's a
Yeah, when
really
you
vague sentence.
no, it's not. What you're getting at is like you need to find people that you enjoy.
Yeah.
That's the word. It's just like just pure enjoy. Like how can you go and be with these people and it just like you when you see them and you're just like I like when I'm around my friends and like I get really present in the moment, I'm just like you're just the most incredible thing in the world, aren't you?
And I think it's okay to say it. I
Yes.
think we
No,
don't
you gotta say
we
you
don't
like.
say it enough. Like that's why I appreciate you and Matthias, who say these things to me. Like I just
Mm,
really enjoy being around you because I think for those of us who have spent so much time performing or
mm-hmm,
being, it's so nice just to hear like just sitting with you right now is just where I want to be 100%. And I'm so glad that
mm-hmm,
we get even you and I talk about the show all the time. We're so glad other people show up. But for us, it's also just this great commitment to each
mm-hmm,
other and to like learning about each other's worlds. And
mm-hmm,
hopefully it helps other people too.
mm-hmm,
But it's such an experience of family for us to just
mm-hmm.
connect.
Yep. And I like if the word family feels triggering to you or whatever, just
Yeah,
like this is
sorry.
what I mean. I no, I'm not saying I'm what I'm saying is like I think that friendship, like good, true,
Mhm.
beloved community friendship,
Mhm.
where and this is where like I get into like my ideas around like relationship anarchy. This
Mhm.
idea that like all of my relationships have equal value and importance in my life. They're all just different. I have
Mhm.
different commitments with each one. I have different ways of moving with each one. And all of them are equally important. I just, the time, like, our expectations for all of them are just different. And that to me, there's a lot of freedom in that because, like, there's just so much opportunity for love without ownership.
I just need that sentence. There's so much opportunity for love without ownership because
Hmm.
I have had so much heartbreak because I
Hmm.
thought a relationship had to look a certain way and I missed out on what it already was. You know,
Ooh.
you and I have
Wow.
talked over and over again. I've got this friend who, for lots of reasons, can't be what I would love for him to be in my life now or maybe ever. But I just miss out on the fact that like how great it is to connect to another human and feel seen when
Hmm.
you're with them,
Yeah.
feel and it doesn't have to be a heartbreak
Hmm.
if it means we never walk down an aisle. Like whatever it might be, right?
Yes. Um,
Because who gets to connect with someone who sees you and
mhm.
has all the same interests?
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you I mean, you're again, my rule. I'm always allowed to ask for what I want as long as I'm okay with hearing no.
Yes.
And that's the thing is if you can't hear no when you ask for friendship with somebody, like if they don't if they like what do you do like if you like ask for love and they say no? What are you gonna do? Are you gonna completely break down? Is it going to ruin your opinion of them? Are you gonna say you don't fucking love me?
Hmm.
That's called fucking codependence, baby. But it's just like when I look at someone, it's just like I love you and I need nothing from you. Like that is actually unconditional love.
Oh, I love you and I need nothing from you. Because, not because it's not lovely to have it, but
Hmm.
because in myself I am whole. With
Hmm.
the divine within me, I am whole. With
Yes.
my I you it's not you can't hurt me because I'm no man is I'm an island. No, it's not
Mm-mm.
that. It's
It's just
the
that like,
awareness that you're enough.
hmm and I also want to say like, if for those of you listening to this and it sounds like really really like woo woo a little off the deep end, you
Sorry, yeah.
don't you don't know where we are. I guarantee you that there's a part of you that does understand what we're talking about.
Mhm.
and it just feels uncomfortable. Maybe at least like this is what I think about a lot. Is like I don't know because that's radical vulnerability right there. Like that's the thing, is that it is truly allowing yourself to be completely seen. And when you've been rejected a whole lot, it is scary. When you're afraid of betrayal, it's scary.
Yep.
And so observe the feelings, note where they are, and
Right.
try it anyway. Try it anyways, and recognize that you'll recognize that friendships are fluid, and the stream, like your streams will come together and diverge at different times. For example, the other night I saw a man who I had made out with earlier in the past, and I was just like, wow, I'm so happy to see you again because maybe we can make out. I didn't say that to him, but that's what my thought was, and I was just so happy.
You're
And
so
then
funny.
and then the other night, which I think we're going out tonight. I ran into this guy who we like matched with on Tinder a bazillion years ago. This has nothing to do with the actual question. I'm gonna stop.
I just love that you're like, and it can be whatever, but it's about holding things loosely, right?
Yeah, try to hold things loosely, and then also when you're in your fifis about it, baby yourself. Be very sweet to you. Like that's my
Yes.
biggest advice. Is like, yeah, like do exactly what you need, and if you cannot do something with complete presence and joy, like why are you doing it?
Yep. Well, this has
Yep.
been another episode of Your Favorite Ants.
Yeah, please.
Subscribe,
I'm
like, share it.
you
We're going to be,
like and share and subscribe.
and if you can make it here on Fridays, we love sitting with you in this. We know that we're about to enter into a very difficult season for a lot of people. And so we're
Oh
just
yeah, come
grateful.
on, Blue Christmas era.
I
Whoa!
know we will be with you the day after Thanksgiving. Are you able to record from
Yeah,
Miami?
you'll be. I'm trying to
Can you
get
bring our ants on? The
I'm
other
trying to bring
ants?
your two favorite uncles on.
Ah!
Crossover episode.
That would be so fun.
Yeah, I'm going down to Miami to spend it with Josh and Adrian. They're the host of Dirty Rotten Trash Cans.
Dirty Mountain Trench Cans
You know what I think?
are
Like I just
besties.
they are as good in real life as they are
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
air.
They're amazing humans. We are so
Um,
lucky. And again, it's you know what it
we're
is? You and
so
I
lucky.
we stepped into what was us.
We really stepped in it.
And then we ran into other people who were like, "Yeah, I'm weird the
Mm,
same way." And that's how our mutual weirdness, and
hmm
that's how you do it, guys. So
Yeah.
yes, that will
Um,
be next Friday. Join us.
you
Also,
got any promos? You got any things going on?
you know what? I have a couple spots open in coaching, which I'm really excited about. So if you are interested in
Woo!
doing one-on-one coaching, that is what I am being trained to do and am trained to do. And so I've got some really great clients right now, and it's super fun. And I'm working with a couple
So do
churches
I.
as well. And I just want to open up my time more and more. So I have been traveling a lot in the last 6 months, and I'm going to be back home for a while and open to
In
more
Costa?
available. Yeah, I'll be in Costa Mesa all of November, the rest of November and December, probably.
Cool.
Uh, I know.
Let's go to Tulum for New Year's.
And so I would
Sorry.
love to help people kind of help them sort of think through their transitions in a different way. So I'm doing that, but also working on a couple podcasts, both of which will come out in the new year again.
Yeah,
Back to
yeah.
making spaces. I was hoping to get a lot more recorded before, but one of the big things I'm looking for is an editor. So I'm working on that.
Hey, if you are someone who is interested in editing podcasts, please send
We
an
have a
email
crew
to
of people.
askyourfavoriteants@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And
What do you
if you have
got that you want to share before we close out?
my promotions are I've got cute merch in the
You
store.
do.
Let's
So
just back up
cute.
and let's look at the material real quick.
Stop it.
Over here we've got the cute little, it says, I am not lost, I am in wonder, and it's got this cute little like, you know, hand cut off
Mm-hmm.
design. Looks mystical and woo woo. It's a croppy toppy.
Mm-hmm.
Got sizes all the way up to I think it's 3X, but 2X for sure. This is a 2X, and I am a 6 foot tall, broad shouldered woman. And I like it. It's very billowy. It's very cute and very fun.
Yeah, I think that might be my next purchase from your website.
It's very, very cute. I've also got some new merch that I just put up in the store. I need to be more promotional about them. And also, if you want stuff by Christmas, you should order by December 5th. Wow, I'm so gassy. So sorry.
We're so glad you're here, though.
Yes. I think that's everything. Follow me online at the Kevin Garcia. Please buy my book. It's called Bad Theology Kills.
Follow me at Rev Sir Heath, and do me a huge favor if you can, and buy my books on Amazon, because guess what just happened? My publisher pulled all my books. They're no longer publishing my books. So if you want to grab them off Amazon, I make that money.
Yeah. This is I'm not gonna lie, they fucked you.
I know.
Yeah. Also, I wrote this down, and I just want to like plant this in the heart and mind of everyone out there. Here's the ASMR of it.
Okay, where did you write down? As our closing
just
thought.
Listen to that real quick.
Ooh, I like it.
I want to do a conference. I've always wanted to run a huge conference of some kind because I want to bring a whole shit ton of people together. And I was like, okay, so we've got like the Evolving Faith Conference. I'm just like, let's just do the irreverent. Let's just do the Irreverent Faith Conference.
I think it'd be fun.
Yep. And I think it'd be really delicious. I'm probably going to do it in Atlanta because I live here.
I love Atlanta, so let's do it.
It's a really fun time. It's
Save
easy.
that room.
Yeah. Save that money too. It's actually a lot cheaper to do things here too than other places. So I look forward to our dreams and visions. Till next week, everyone. We love you.
Make good decisions. Drink lots of water.
Drink lots of
water. Stay off your foot if you're injured.
Yeah, and make sure whatever you do with joy. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
We love you. Bye.